Are you looking to spin your wedges so to add some stopping power on your approach shots? If so, you've hit on the right video here because we're going to have a look at what good players do when they got something less than a full swing into the green and they want their ball to have that one hop and stop control. If you're new to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and click on the notifications bell so as not to miss any future content from me. Stay with me to the end of this video where I'm going to share my 3 favorite gems for the wee chip shots right beside the green to help you with your scoring even further. Now, let's get you the straight goods on how to increase the backspin on your wedge shots. We're here at the beautiful and challenging 7th hole at Cordova Bay Golf Course, and to get good spin on your wedges or appropriate spin, you've got several factors that have to be in your favor. A couple of them are in the equipment. So you're going to need a soft enough covered golf ball, a ball that is going to allow you some purchase as you come through impact zone, and you also need a decent wedge, meaning you need a wedge that fits you well and a wedge that has relatively fresh grooves. That means that your 35-year-old wedge is probably not going to be any good for this shot. So those are 2 equipment factors. There's also a couple of environmental factors. So we need to get onto fairways that are relatively tight cut. And here at Cordova Bay, we got beautiful fairways. That allows you to make good, solid contact with not a lot of grass, dirt, water, debris between your club face and the ball. Again, allowing for that really good purchase. And lastly, you need to hit your shot into a relatively receptive green, meaning soft enough that it's going to receive your ball and allow it to bite and stay near the flagstick. Today, the greens are actually fairly firm, so we're going to see some rollout, making it even more critical that I get good purchase at impact and impart enough backspin so my ball doesn't roll beyond the flagstick. 81 yards. It's a little bit less than a full sand wedge distance for me, which means that I can impart a fair bit of spin here because I'm going to have a reasonable amount of club head speed. Remember, the club in your hand has to have reasonably fresh grooves on it and a decent brand. Also, you need a decent golf ball, meaning you have to have a soft enough skin to get some purchase when you actually make impact here. The green has to be soft enough, the fairway has to be tight enough, so those things are all in the environment. Now let's look at the things that you can do to make sure that you get good purchase and good spin on your ball. Number 1 is really difficult. The good players will actually strike the ball off of groove 2 or 3 from the bottom, counting from the bottom up. So they don't hit the ground before the ball, they just get the ball first. A nice little low on the club face type of strike is going to give you a maximum spin. And the second is that good players will actually control the angle of attack. So what does that mean? That means the steepness of strike as the club head comes into the ball, and they do that mostly through their ball position. So if I had the ball way forward in my stance, that would promote a shallow angle of attack or a bit of a sweeper. So for these wedges where I want to impart a lot of spin to get us a lot of stopping power when that ball hits the green, I can actually get the ball back in the stance a wee bit, which is going to promote a steeper angle of attack and crisp strike. And it's that kind of sound and that kind of contact that gives us a lot of backspin when that ball hits the green. It's going to have that one hop and stop control. Welcome back to World Headquarters here, Straight Goods on Golf indoor studio. Just a little follow-up to the outdoor portion there. A reminder, make sure you've got a decent wedge and a soft enough golf ball so that you have a chance to stop your ball on the green. That's why this series is called Straight Goods on Golf. A little bit more of the how come and a little bit less of the how to. And now to a little promise I made earlier in this video. And here are those little chipping nuggets. I've got one great conceptual idea that I know you're going to want to latch onto, and it's that you want to chip your chips as low to the ground as humanly possible. Even though intuition may have you thinking of a high chip shot, if you want to make good solid contact, which is number 1 on our chipping list, you want to have a nice low picture in mind, and you're going to use that picture to help you with your technique. So when you're chipping, your technique should be such that the club head stays low to the ground, particularly in the follow through. So you don't want a lot of wrist when chipping because the club head will exit up and we want it to kind of follow the ball towards the target with a nice low exit. And lastly, make sure that you have the ball far enough back in your stance, which also reduces the loft a wee bit. If you need to reduce the rollout, then you're going to go to more loft in your hand. But the technique looks a wee bit like this. So it's a little non-violent shot where the club head stays low to the ground, and it's kind of like taking the old cordon broom in the kitchen and just sweeping forward. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel and fill up that comment section below, because I love to hear from you and get a sense of what you thought of the video, but also any ideas you might have for some future content for me.